All right, so can you tell us about your experience in the Big Brother house?
Ooh, my experience in the Big Brother house was a little complicated. There was ups and downs, mainly good times, which I wish you guys all saw. But there were also down times. Few times I broke down, or one or two times I did. So, but it was a nice place to meet new people, to connect with them, and overall do things and push myself forward.
For the Big Brother Naija season 10, 10 over 10, how would you rate yourself from 1 to 10?
How would I rate myself from 1 to 10? Ooh, an 8, because I feel like the two I'm leaving it for the part of me that didn't quite unravel completely in the show, which I wish did. I'll say an 8 because there's always room for improvement.
Awesome. All right, so you spent 2 weeks in Biggie's house, 14 days. What would you say was the experience or the lesson you had with other housemates in the house?
I would say that my biggest lesson is boundaries. I was able to be firm in everything that I did, to assert myself, talk about things that made me feel uncomfortable, talk about things that made me feel bad, and also move and forge forward. I wasn't scared to make new connections, wasn't scared to end things, and I was 100% myself.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about the task. Of course, you were involved. You met 28
Yes.
new people in the house. So how would you say your involvement was in terms of task, house cleaning, in terms of working in teams in the house? How would you rate that experience?
I'll say every team that I was on, when it comes to task, I was part of it, right? There were a lot of tasks, even up to tasks that were physically challenging. There was a task that there were, I think, 5 teams, and everyone was a guy on it that participated, and I was the only woman that participated in the task because it was physically challenging. You had to like jump over things. But I love to push myself. I'm very competitive. I was very proud of myself for being that person. There was 1 or 2 times where I broke the last person's record, in the task. And this last week, my team also won the wager. Unfortunately, I'm not there, but like my team won the wager. I put 101% in the task that I do. And I know my other housemates rather will attest to that. They were also fun. When it comes to house chores, a little off because we're a lot, right? And there was just always something to do. But I made it clear from the beginning I wasn't going to cook for the whole house. So I did what I could when I could because it's lovely to help people. However, in that part, I was a little bit wonky. But other tasks, 100%, I was always there.
What would you say? How did you feel when Ibuka mentioned that you were living in the house and you're evicted?
I was surprised. I was shocked. There was a lot of gasp in my ear at that moment. There's even videos and pictures of people with their mouths wide open. So my feelings mirrored that, right? Because it felt like I was doing stuff in the house. Where exactly wasn't it translating? And I felt very disappointed because my goal to be here was to stay till the very end, especially with the alliances that I had formed. I think that the same way they were surprised, and I couldn't talk till I got on stage. And I still, so while talking on stage, a lot of people were like, oh, you didn't stutter, you didn't put filler words. That's the kind of person I am. I'll put on a brave face and put myself together. But once I was off that stage and before I got on that stage, I was numb. I was shocked, numb, and it felt like it was unreal until I got to the hotel room.
Would you say that your eviction was, I would say, I'll put it this way. Of course, your name in the house, Ibifubara, and your name on social media is Slice of Advocate. Would you say that really affected maybe your voting, the voting process for people keeping in the house, or maybe your strategy in the house?
Yes. So the thing that it was less about the name and more about when there was a push for me on social media. My team was also following a lot of rules that were given to my team, right? And I'm not trying to call out any other team, but you know how the game can be. But I think that also affected how I was being pushed, because when they started pushing, it almost became very fast in the way that people were finding me. If you go out and you just like search Ibifubara, I will actually pop up. There is no miscommunication because there are not a lot of Ibifubaras anyway. It did because there was a head start from other housemates. And I think that it would have really affected me staying or going, right? I also expected a lot of, would I say, decisions to be made concerning that it's okay. At the end of the day, I don't blame anybody for it. I think that is just the plan for me, maybe. And I would make use of the platform that is already growing and building, and the people that actually still care about me and see me, and just be in their faces until I catch up, really.
Okay, quickly, who was your favorite housemate? while you were in the house?
Who was my favorite? I have a couple of favorite housemates. I have Ruboy. Otega was a favorite. Thelma Lawson was a favorite. Sabrina was a favorite housemate when I was in the house. And at some point, Big Two, she was the first friend I made in the house. So that was really exciting to have.
So your least favorite house?
My least favorite. Now, not because this person is a bad person, but just because I don't think that we vibe or we've had conversations that and all of that. And that's Jason J. There are other people that I haven't even talked to like that, like the Mensa and all those people that, or they're just there. No, not even the Mensa or Ivata. That I've never had a proper sit down conversation with Ivata, but I have no feelings towards her. But for Jason J, it's just a thing where I believe that, like I said, if I come out of the house and it's a thing where we have a conversation, maybe we'll align. But for now, he's my least favorite.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Bye.